Thank you, Madam Chairman, and Madam Secretary. Thank you for the absolutely extraordinary job you do. You've been a fabulous Secretary of State. Let me just pick up where my colleague left off. I concur completely with the idea that we need to do whatever we do with respect to Libya in concert with the international community. What has made these revolutions so powerful is they've been indigenous. They have not been at the tip of the American spear or imposed from outside. All that being said, I hope that we can find success working with the international community to take as aggressive and swift action as possible. It is just excruciating to watch the Libyan people attacked by their own government with all the powerful machinery of the Libyan military. It's just devastatingly tragic to watch. I think this period is one of the most promising, potentially, that we've seen in decades with the transition that's going on in the Middle East and North Africa. And what happens in the next couple of years may be something as momentous as the collapse of the Soviet Union. And the legacy of this administration may have as much to do with this as anything else, and maybe a lot more. So the success of what's begun in Tunisia, Egypt, I think, is such an enormous priority. In terms of undermining the al-Qaeda narrative, what happens in those countries may eclipse in significance anything that's happened in Iraq at much less cost of life and treasure. So I'm all in favor of whatever investment we can make in these people-powered revolutions. And I know when the collapse of the Soviet Union took place, we were in economic recession. It didn't stop us from helping to rebuild Eastern Europe and help these fledgling democracies. And our current economic circumstances cannot cripple us from seeing the opportunity and the necessity of a vigorous effort now. A lot of these revolutions have been powered by economic factors, not just political ones. And their success may depend on economic factors. If the Egyptian people don't see any progress through the economy, we may trade one authoritarian regime for another. So I wanted to ask you about that. There's been some reprogramming that you mentioned with respect to Egypt. Can we do some reprogramming to help the Tunisian people? That is a great prospect for success in Tunisia, a smaller, more homogeneous population. Do we need to look at the calibration of military and civilian assistance to Egypt in a finite resourced world? I mean, obviously, our relationship with the military is key. We don't want to do anything to undermine that. At the same time, there's a tremendous civilian economic need. So how can we find the resources to help those countries economically stay on the path they're on?
Well, I think you're asking the right question, because I believe that if people don't see some improvement in their economic circumstances, they will become discouraged and maybe even start to turn away from democracy. And we can't permit that to happen. If we have any role to play, we need to play it. Again, I mean, a lot of it comes down to the money that we already have that we're trying to reprogram. I'll be working to get up to $20 million for Tunisia to respond to some of their needs. When I met with the Tunisian Secretary of State in Geneva about a week and a half ago, he said, we want American help. We remember America was with us when we became independent in the 1960s, which goes back to kind of the, the feelings, the attitudes, the values that people have. So I think you're absolutely right. We need to have a very big commitment to Tunisia, that we can be ready to help them economically as well as with their democratic transformation. Similarly with Egypt, they've asked us to look at a lot of different possibilities. We are doing the best we can within the budget we have and that we can anticipate. But I underscore your point, Congressman. This is an amazing opportunity. When I spoke with the Egyptian officials just over the last couple of weeks, they kept mentioning Central and Eastern Europe. They kept saying that's where we want to turn out. We don't want to get derailed. We want this to work. So we want to help them make it work. And I think it's going to require that we have budgetary assistance for them, that we have economic assistance going to small and medium-sized enterprises, which could help stimulate the economy from the bottom up in Egypt. We're looking at all of that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister.